This story begins with a teenage girl named Ishimori Uka. She is a shy girl who always struggles to socialize and has almost no friends. With middle school graduation approaching, Uka feels overwhelmed with anxiety as she must choose a high school. Her painful experiences of being bullied have made her afraid of facing a new environment. One day, while Uka is lost in thought about which high school she should choose, she accidentally runs into Kanzaki Surina, a girl who has bullied her since middle school. Surina pushes Uka to the ground and mocks her for choosing a school considered unpopular, one that Surina claims is only filled with losers. Uka does not dare to fight back, even though her heart is deeply hurt by the insult. Not long after, a blonde-haired boy approaches her. His name is Miura Kai. In his hand, Kai always carries a bottle of lemon soda, a drink that seems to be his trademark, just as striking as his hair color. Kai suggests that Uka enroll in the same high school as him. His simple words give Uka a small glimmer of hope, the hope of living a normal school life without fear of bullying. In the end, Uka decides to follow Kai's advice and is accepted into the same high school. On her first day as a high school student, Uka greets the morning with excitement. She rides her bicycle to school, believing that her life is about to change for the better. Meanwhile, Kai, who is extremely popular, immediately becomes the center of attention among the female students. His popularity makes many male students jealous. In one incident, Kai splashes lemon soda toward them, but some of it accidentally hits Uka as she passes by, soaking her brand new uniform. Kai never imagined that the girl he had once met would actually enroll in the school he recommended. Day by day, Uka tries to train herself to socialize. She begins to open up and make friends. However, her fear returns when she learns that Surina and her group are also attending the same high school. Since the past, Surina has mocked Uka by calling her the stone, because Uka always stays silent when being bullied. The harassment continues. Yuka's belongings are thrown into the trash. Yuka's situation eventually draws Kai's attention. One day, Surina approaches Uka again in the school hallway and forces her to buy food for her. When Uka refuses, Surina becomes angry and pushes her to the ground. Uka bursts into tears, and the commotion attracts other students. This time, Kai does not stay silent. He stands in front of Surina and her gang, giving them a firm warning to stop harassing Uka or face the consequences. From that moment on, Yuka's days at school begin to feel more peaceful. Gradually, Uka truly starts to open up. She makes new friends named Ayumi, Satoru, and Tomoya. The girl who used to be nervous speaking in front of others now begins to share her story. Uka reveals that she has been bullied for a long time since middle school, to the point where she believed school was a painful place. However, someone has made her realize that by choosing this high school, she might finally live a normal school life, the kind of life every teenager her age deserves. One day, the teacher rearranges the seating in the classroom. By coincidence, Uka is seated in the front row, right next to Kai. The teacher praises Uka as a smart student. Hearing this, Kai casually announces that anyone who becomes friends with Uka is sure to see their grades improve. As a popular student, Kai's words are immediately believed. Uka soon finds herself surrounded by many classmates and no longer feels alone. However, the special attention Kai gives Uka makes Tomoya suspicious that Kai may have feelings for her. Unfortunately, Kai chooses not to admit it. Behind his relaxed and helpful demeanor, Miura Kai is actually hiding many secrets. On a bright afternoon, Miura Kai invited Ishimori Uka to study together with their friends at a cafe to prepare for the upcoming semester exams. Yuka's intelligence proved to be a great help, as she made it easier for everyone to understand the subjects, creating a relaxed and pleasant study atmosphere. Not long after, Surina approached them with her two friends. They were all from the same school. It turned out that Surina was Kai's ex-girlfriend. Although they had broken up, Surina still maintained a good relationship with Kai. However, one of her talkative friends began mocking Uka, saying that Uka did not deserve to sit next to Kai. The cruel remark angered Surina. She immediately grabbed a glass and poured its contents onto her own friend, not on Uka. Surina then apologized to Uka for her friend's behavior. The next day, on the school rooftop, Surina was surrounded by her two friends. They demanded that she apologize to them for what happened at the cafe. Surina refused. When one of them was about to slap her, Uka appeared and tried to protect Surina, the very person who had defended her the day before. Soon after, Kai arrived as well. Realizing the situation was no longer in their favor, the two girls eventually left. When only the three of them remained, Uka noticed that Kai still showed special concern for Surina. She did not know why they had broken up, but Uka began to feel inferior. Surina was not only beautiful, but also brave and strong. Uka later learned that Surina had become so strong because of her painful past. Back in middle school, Surina had been bullied even more severely than Uka ever was. During that time, Kai had acted as her protector. From then on, Surina relied heavily on Kai, until she eventually realized that she had to become strong on her own, because she could not always depend on someone else's protection. Although Surina claimed that she no longer had feelings for Kai, Uka believed she was lying. Convinced that Surina still loved him, Uka began to avoid Kai without giving any explanation, even though Kai continued trying to get closer to her. One day, during a school festival, Kai once again asked Uka why her attitude toward him had suddenly changed. Uka remained silent. Kai then took her hand and looked into her eyes, telling her that even though she seemed quiet and motionless like a stone, to him she was a precious gemstone. At that moment, Uka realized that she had fallen in love with Kai. Behind his popularity, Kai lived a difficult life. He had to work to support himself because he lived alone without his parents. At night, Kai worked part-time at a bar, and only a few close friends knew about this side of his life. The exhausting routine eventually took a toll on his health, causing him to fall ill and miss school for several days. Worried about him, Uka decided to visit Kai after school. When she arrived at his small apartment, his condition was far worse than she had imagined. His fever was extremely high, and he collapsed. Uka took care of him for the entire day. Later, she asked about his parents, but Kai claimed they were overseas, which was why he lived alone. Eventually, Kai recovered and returned to school. However, seeing how popular he was among female students made Uka feel uneasy again. Tomoya noticed her anxiety and warned Kai to be more considerate of Yuka's feelings. Kai then left a note in Yuka's notebook, saying that he needed her. Still, Uka was unsure whether his words were truly a confession of love. Ayumi encouraged Uka to be honest about her feelings. Reflecting on all her memories with Kai, from their first meeting until now, Uka realized that his actions and care had always been sincere. Finally, she gathered the courage to confess her deepest feelings. To her surprise, Kai responded by kissing her softly on the lips. From that day on, they openly showed their relationship at school. In front of everyone, Kai declared that Ishimori Uka was his girlfriend. Even so, some classmates believed that their relationship was completely mismatched. A few days later, their relationship began to face difficulties when Uka asked about Kai's family background. Kai was extremely sensitive whenever the topic of his family came up, even when it was Uka who asked. His mood suddenly darkened. Tomoya warned Uka not to bring up anything related to Kai's family and told her about Kai's part-time job at a night bar. One night, Uka went to Kai's workplace. Kai was shocked to see her and immediately pulled her outside, saying that it was not a place suitable for his girlfriend. He felt uncomfortable with how Uka was intruding too deeply into his private life without understanding him. Without any explanation, Kai left Uka standing there in confusion. On Christmas Eve, Uka celebrated without Kai, who was still working. She posted several photos of their simple memories together, as if showing that she was happy spending those moments with him. Though ordinary, each moment they shared was deeply meaningful. When Kai saw the photos on his phone, he reflected and realized that Uka was the most precious person in his life. He then ran off from work to find her. Unfortunately, Uka had already left. Her friends told Kai that she had gone to the place where she first met him, borrowing Satoru's bicycle. Kai hurried after her. When they finally met, Kai showed her a handwritten note explaining his family situation. His mother had passed away when he was still young, and his father had abandoned him during his final year of middle school. Since then, Kai had lived alone with no one to rely on. He had kept this secret because he was afraid that the person he loved would leave him once again after learning the truth. That fear of losing someone had long been the deepest trauma in his life. However, Uka accepted Kai just the way he was. She promised to stay by his side and support him, no matter what happened in the future.